Hi, my name's Jason Williams, and in this video I'm going to install a manual choke install a choke onto this TB42 Nissan Patrol from 1980s. And I've got a choke cable and I've got a choke flap and the mechanism here. And so what I'm going to do is take off that airbox. I'll show you everything that's going on and how it works and what I'm going to have to do. I'm hoping not to pull the carburetor off at this point, but I probably will have to. Alright, get straight into it. Alright, so getting straight into it, I'll remove this really cool airbox that I refurbed and made. This car has been really hard to start in the early mornings. It's been like 5 or 4 degrees. So when I say really hard to start, it takes probably two or three goes and then I get going. I'd rather it just be first go. That's how everything should be. Airbox off, nice and simple. And then I've got to evaluate whether I need to drill this out or not, or whether I can actually do it without even drilling in, or whether I don't have to take the carburetor off. I don't want to have to. It looks like I'm going to get away with it. Alright, well it turns out I do have all the parts and I've got the right bits. And I had to take the carby off because it was difficult, plus there were actually some other leaks that I've repaired. So the bottom of this accelerator pump here was leaking badly, so I've sealed that up. Hopefully that does that job. And the next bit is to drill these out with this drill bit that I've got here. Yeah, I'm going to drill these out and fit that. Alright, being mindful not to over drill it, I guess. And being that it's off the car, I can do this upside down and wipe it out. The right size, I hope, not way too big or something stupid. No, maybe a little bit, tiny bit big. Either way, I'll go around the other side and drill the other one out. Let's see that goes through okay. Fits, should be spot on. Now I'll assemble that part. Alright, so this is now sorted. So there's that little slot for the rod. We put this in this way. Have to make sure we get this up the right direction, because if that's closed, that will be open, right? Closed and open. Yeah, it doesn't need to move a whole lot. And once, like, if you're thinking what makes this stay there, is once it's in, it doesn't slide out. Little plastic hammer. goes over the little clips and self centers just like that, and that's it. So what happens is when the choke comes on, it's going to create a heap of vacuum in the carby, which will create heap of vacuum in the carby, which will draw more fuel through the metering block, and that'll help it run a little bit better. Yes, that's the plan. And so what we've got to watch for is that when, in a four-wheel drive situation, this can rattle around if not secured properly, and that would, like that there, would cause it to run really badly and use a lot of fuel. So we've got to make sure it's in this right spot. We've got to assemble all the parts and try to, make sure I line it up and get it, because I've got to make a little rod to attach to this lever. And but yeah, I'll show that as I go, and hopefully this will all make sense rather than me just rambling around. Alright, so making this fit, which has been a little bit more difficult than I thought, is this piece goes on here, and these bits have to clear to operate. And in order to operate past here, I've had to somewhat modify this a bit. I'm not finished yet. I've had to grind bits out, and this one can suck vacuum, so I'm I've ground it down to where it needs to miss. I'm gonna put some Loctite on a screw that was blocking it before, and to wind it in. And then when I've got it tight enough, got it down tight, you see there's quite a bit of Loctite I whacked on there. I'll get it down fair way. Alright, that'll do it. And I've checked that the air can't vacuum past here anymore. All good. And then I'll have to grind the top of that off. That should do it. I'll have to give this all a clean down when I've finished, obviously. Get rid of all the metal swath so that the pieces in there. I think that's sorted that out for that, where that vacuum leak would have been. And what did I do with that guy? He goes on here. Just making sure everything misses, which it does. There's plenty of room now. Somewhat difficult. I'll tell you what, if anyone wonders why custom work costs so much, it's because there's so much little bits and pieces in amongst all of this that has to operate. So I'm going to persevere off camera and, grind all that down and try to get that right, and then see how I go. Alright, now with all the modifications done on the carby that need to be done, I've got this thing. I've managed to flip this up the way I want it and adjusted the spring so that it when I pull on the choke cable like that, that'll be the choke coming on. And when I push back and it's under spring tension going back, that's the choke off. So that should work fine, not to allow that to flap around. And now, off camera I'll do this, This is another 2.5. This is a 2.5mm stainless welding rod. I've knocked all the flux off the outside for a manual arc welder. And same as I did for the fuel bowl, I'm going to use this same material to manufacture a rod that goes from there through this little spot in the carby and into there to operate this flap. And then I've got to just figure out with some spring clips to retain them. But this bit I'll do off camera because this is really quite fiddly, and yeah, hopefully I'm putting this carby back on soon. Alright, with that all sorted and the mechanism, I had to modify a few things, flipped a few things up, drilled some holes, made some things fit, and now it is functioning. So if I turn the choke on, that's pulling the choke lever, that's on, and to turn the choke off, all the way the other way, and it's kind of spring loaded, so it wants to be off if it can, and when it's in the off position, can't rattle it and accidentally turn it on. That's important part. That's a bit like, because if you're accidentally able to rattle it past where it stops to like either half choke or somewhere, you know, even full or wherever, that would make it run terrible at operating temperature and use a lot of fuel. So I'll chuck this back on the car and begin the cable, which is right there on the bench. So I'll begin that now. Alright, well, inside the cab here, this is looking pretty easy. This is there's a little spot here with a grommet there, ready for a choke. And then if I go down here, there's a little, should be able to see that hole, yep. So I'll just very awkwardly run this cord and then show you it attaching. Alright, the choke is in. Let's go check that it works. Alright, if you can hopefully see that choke flap, sort of. Should be able to see it. And if I pull the choke on, that's it on, that's it off. It's a little bit stiffer to pull on than it is to set off, which is good. And the main thing is when this is when you fall driving, it's not all the way. Yep, it is. When you fall driving, that can't, you know, that is really difficult to accidentally come on. Hence the way I set up the little spring in there and everything. So I'll put the carby back together, or the airbox and everything, and test it out. Alright, so it's all together. No, I won't pump the accelerator. I've already pumped the fuel up. It runs really badly. What happens if I pull the choke on a bit? Chokes it out, as you expect, and then with it in drive, it'll no doubt want to choke, see, like that, without the choke on. Oh, still in drive. Oops. Pump twice. Now if I put it in drive, it'll pull the choke on a bit and handbrake off, foot on the brake. Ah, that's better. I can actually accelerate with it cold. So if I turn the choke all the way off, it'll just stall out when they go to a thing. So either way, that works. Oh, any more from there? No, that'll probably do for this video. Alright, well, thank you very much for watching this video and putting a choke on an old TB42 manual choke. Having to get by these, you know, old cars, there's a bit of custom work and a bit of things to do. Anyway, either way, it works, and yeah, I've got another job to do on this in a couple of days, so that'll be the next video, no doubt. Yeah, alright, thank you very much for watching, and I will aspire to see you in the next one. Cheers.